Again, my name is Kristen Lathrop. I'm the Director of Admission here at Proctor, and this is the first of 3 virtual events we plan to do this year. So we're excited to have you on here now. What we plan to do tonight is we'll have a slideshow at the beginning to remind you or show you all the things that are neat about Proctor. And then we're going to turn it over to our students for you to ask questions. So a couple reminders before we get started is one, that this will be recorded so that we can put it on our website. It will live in our virtual library, probably after tomorrow. And then if you could have your microphones muted, it looks like everyone has done that, which is awesome. And then we do have a chat feature. So if you think of questions along the way, please feel free to put your chat there, and I will monitor that at the end, and we'll try to get those questions answered. So a few more people just popped in. And then I think I'll get started, and I'm going to share my screen. So again, my name is Kristen Lathrop, and I'm the Director of Admission here at Proctor. This is our first. Sorry, I'm just checking that that's all good. Hopefully you guys can see my screen now. Can I get a thumbs up, students? Okay. So this is the first of our series of 3 virtual events. So tonight we're going to focus on an overview of Proctor. And that's hard to do because we have a lot going on here at Proctor, but we'll do our best, and then we'll open it up to our students so you can ask them some questions at the end. So this is a beautiful picture of our campus. Some of it, can't quite see all of it there. We're located in Andover, New Hampshire, which is about an hour and a half north of Boston. And it's located in the Black River River Valley. We're surrounded by 2,500 acres of forest. And you can see we have a little pond right in the middle, but we have a lot of lakes and rivers and mountains around us. And so in a lot of ways, Proctor might seem like any other school. You can see from this slide, we of course have our academics where we're going to challenge and support our students. Of course, we have arts offerings and athletics and afternoon activities, and we have a robust community and residential life. But one thing that is a little different for Proctor is our focus on experiential learning. And this is part of our philosophy. So we bring that into our on-campus offerings and also have some off-campus programs, which we will talk about. And then the other thing that I think makes Proctor special is that we really focus on our students and supporting them, knowing them, and allowing them to be seen and to grow. Our goal is that students will expand their identity while they're here. And we just think we do that really well. So I'm going to try to show you how we do that. So, okay, just trying to slide here. So when we think about what do we hope for our students when they leave Proctor, we're thinking about the profile of a Proctor graduate. Now, students might come to this in many different ways, but by the end, we hope that they will be confident, community-minded, collaborative and ethical, resilient, creative, knowledgeable, productive, a problem solver, and take responsibility for their own learning. In the quote that's there, you see also the self-advocacy and self-awareness. And when I look at this picture of Will, I don't think anyone would have predicted that he would be the senior speaker last year when he first came in to Proctor. So there was a ton of growth. And every student's journey is really different at Proctor, but hopefully they're going to leave with a lot of these skills and qualities that they've learned here at Proctor. So how do we do that? How do we help our students find these skills or create these skills? Sorry, I'm having trouble clicking forward. Okay, so we believe it starts with the people here. So I love this little graphic that we have of our bicycle wheel, where at the center is the student with their family and their advisor, and those are their biggest, closest supporters in their time at Proctor. But then you can see all these other people that are going to help them grow and learn. So teachers, dorm parents, international student advisor, learning specialists, if you're in our support program, we have dean's team, college counselors, student wellness, athletic coaches, and probably more. So hopefully, I think all of our students could say that they have at least one and probably many trusted adults in their life. And it's these people that are believing in them and supporting them that are helping them to grow and build those confidence and those skills that I showed in the last slide. So the other thing we do to help our students grow is how we sort of design our programs and how we set up our campus and our schedule. So part of that is residential life. As you can see from my bullets here, we have 19 dorms and the average size is 14 students. So this means that our dorm parents are really getting to know the students well. And in those dorms, the students are like a little family. So, you know, instead of really big residence halls, these are tight-knit groups of students throughout the year. To give you a few more pieces of info about our residential life, we have primarily doubles, and they are mixed in age, and we really try to do that to, I think it breaks down any hierarchies or cliques. So it just promotes, you know, students getting to know many different students in their time, and making relationships, older students with younger students, and mentorship. It's pretty neat. So then when you look at advisory, these are also small groups where students are getting to know an adult and other students. The average is 6 or 7 students in an advisory, and the advisors are there for everything. So as you can see, they might navigate hard moments, whether that's in the dorm or with a teacher or with a friend or with family. Or, you know, they're trying to figure out what their academic schedule is, their off-campus programs, all those things. So this is a really important aspect to their life and building confidence. The next aspect is academics. So you can see down at the bottom, we have trimesters and 7 classes. But what I really want to point out here is the average class size is 12 students with a 1:5 faculty to student ratio. So there are a lot of teachers here who want to help you. And then the other aspect of this is that piece of pushing our students to expand their identity. And one way that we're doing that is through the choices that they have in their academic courses. That you can see 135 offerings. No path is the same. These students have probably all taken different courses in their time. And the experiential learning thread runs through because we believe that that is a way that students learn best, and that is how they're going to be willing to push themselves and be willing to try new things. So that's throughout the academic curriculum. And then as part of that also, the way that we're getting to know some students through our academic support program is, this is called learning skills. So about 1/3 of our student population is in our learning skills program. It's integrated into their schedule, and you can see some of the key points there. But the main thing is that they're learning strategies, advocacy, metacognition, and they're going to be ready to launch into college and beyond. When they leave here, they're going to be independent learners. So the students that we bring into this program are in all our mainstream classes. They're doing the same stuff, but they have some support, and then they can also be really challenged. And Eloise on our panel can speak about that tonight if people have questions specifically there. So embedded in our curriculum as well are a huge variety of arts. And again, the idea is that students are expanding their identity, finding new things that they're excited about, and just, embracing what the opportunities are here. So you can see our visual arts offerings are pretty wide. Painting, ceramics, textile, photography, both film and black and white, or sorry, black and white and digital. We have a recycled art class, 3D design, digital art, and game design. And then from there, we also have performing arts. Now, the performing arts come into students' schedules either as classes, as afternoon activities, or as clubs. So multiple ways, and some students are in all of those, or you could pick or choose. So we have theater tech, band and recording, an audio production class, vocal and instrumental ensembles, and dance. And I know that a couple students on our panel tonight have been involved in these areas. So we'd be happy to answer questions around that as well. The industrial arts are also pretty unique to Proctor, I think. A lot of students love these spaces. So we have woodworking, which you can see here on the right. This is also boat building. That's Annie building a boat this year. We have a forge, and that's metal sculpture in the middle picture. And then metal engineering is another class, which actually can cross as a math or an art class. So again, just trying to get students to try new things. So if all else fails and you don't have a class that hits your passion, or yeah, I guess I would say, like, if you want something more and it's not in our curriculum, a club is a great way to bring that into your schedule. So clubs meet weekly, and students often start these. So you can see a pretty big list of options this year, and it really does change year to year. Students start new things, some drop off, some pop back up. So fishing club, Students of Color Association, Wellness Club, Current Events Club, Proctor Broadcasting Network, the Green Key Tours with admissions. There are different affinity groups. We have a business and investment club, student government, acts of service, Proctor Environmental Action, and I'm probably missing some. So a lot of different clubs that the students really put a lot of energy into and are, sharing with the community, which is really exciting. And I will say a lot of these are focused on community service, which I think is important to a lot of our students, and it's a great avenue for working towards that. Athletics. Okay. You can see a few pictures on here, but this does not represent the 30 to 40 different offerings that we have. So there are kind of all the standard team sports that you would expect, I think. And then we also have a lot of individual sports that are a little bit more outdoorsy. You can see the mountain biking here and skiing. We also have rock climbing and kayaking. And for team sports that you can't see, there's football and field hockey, soccer, hockey. You see the lacrosse, baseball, track, all sorts of things. I'm sure I'm forgetting. So a huge array, and these are, how students are spending a lot of time in the afternoons. And you can ask questions about that as well. And then last but not least, community life is really important for our students. And we have something called Weekend Love. So I pulled a few pictures into this slide to show you a variety of options on the weekends. It's a question we always get. How do you spend your time? So there's a lot of community, whole school community activities that are going on, like games or supporting one another in watching games if your friend is playing. A dance, some trips off campus to different places, like this is the climbing gym down in Concord, or, laser tag or movies or something like that. This is our coffee house, which is a popular spot, and kids are always playing on the turf. So you can ask more questions about that as well. So back to this original slide, and you can see that I highlighted the off and on-campus experiential learning, because I just want to spend a little bit more time on those off-campus experiences, because they are super unique to Proctor. And our students on the panel tonight have done some of these, and some are going next term or later in the year. So I'm hopeful that you can ask them some questions too. So our off-campus programs some of them started back in the 70s. This is part of our philosophy that experiential learning is the best way to learn. So we set up these term-long programs, so fall, winter, or spring, where you have trimesters, where students are away for that whole time. Ends up being about 9 weeks. So 5 different programs, you apply for them the year before, and you can see the little stat at the bottom, around 75% of all of our students will do at least one, and some will do more. They're usually pretty life-changing, so hopefully you can ask some questions about these. So I'm just going to go through a few slides to show you the different programs. So Proctor and Monteverde is the one program that is for 10th graders. You can see there's 6 sophomores, and this happens in the winter and spring, and they live with a host family. So it's a cultural and language immersion with a Spanish language. And they are taking classes. All of these programs take classes, getting credits, and getting to travel around Costa Rica. Proctor in Segovia, Spain, happens for 3 different terms. And this is for juniors and seniors. You can see it was established in 1974, so very long standing. Again, this is a homestay situation. So a lot of the families have hosted our students for a really long time. And again, they're getting credit, they're learning the language, they get to travel around Spain. And I have a few more photos to show you because they're really fun to look at. They're learning history as well and architecture, doing activities that are common there in Segovia. Ocean Classroom is a fall term only, 22 students, established in 1994. They end up sailing a big ship, like you can see in the left, around the eastern seaboard and down to the Caribbean. So these students are learning to sail the ship. They're taking classes while they're out there. There's a really big focus on marine science. We have partnered with the program SEA out of Woods Hole, which is a science research center. And so we're helping them do research while the students are on the ship. And then the students are also doing their own research while they're out there. It's pretty hardcore from what I hear, but it's also amazing. Students love this experience. And here's a few more fun photos of their time. And they do go on land a couple times, so you can see some land shots. Next, we have Mountain Classroom, established back in the 70s as well. It's our oldest one. This is a place-based learning opportunity that travels the West. So these students have a different route each time. There's 10 of them. And they're doing classes, they're learning about where they're going, but it's very place-based. So wherever they are, they're going to learn about the ecology, the history, the people, the environment, everything. I'm probably forgetting things, but it's amazing. And they're camping and backpacking and rock climbing, as you can see in this picture. A few more photos. They travel in a bus with a trailer and do some really cool things. Next, we have Global Art Classroom, which is a 3-term option, and this has evolved recently for us. This year, we began the term in Tucson, Arizona. So you can see some pictures here that are the American Southwest, where our students studied for 6 weeks. It's an art focus, art intensive, where they create these really cool, you can see these little workbooks or these notebooks, sketchbooks that they create, and they are focused on learning about famous artists and art history. And in the 6 weeks that are in the West, they're preparing for a trip to Europe. So currently our students are over in Europe and they visit different cities, and they're going to see some of the people that they learned about and seeing those spaces in person. So pretty special. And here's some photos from that trip. I think Mia, no, you did Spain, right, Mia? Yeah. But anyway, these are some photos from Europe, kind of all over Europe, because they go to different cities each time. Okay, so that concludes my very brief overview of Proctor. And I know I'm going to keep sharing because we're going to have the students introduce themselves. So yeah, hopefully I didn't forget anything. Jake, you're going to be up first. So you'll unmute and please introduce yourself.
Awesome. So my name is Jake Lannis. I am a senior and have been here at Proctor for 2 years. And I think that, so obviously, from New York City as well, but I think that something that was important for me when choosing Proctor was just the, variety of classes, the different course options and coming in as a reclass transfer last year. Um, the ability to mix and match, AP, college level, and elective courses. That was something that really stood out to me compared to some other schools. But yeah, for me, on campus, I am a Green Key ambassador. I've been on Segovia. I play football. That's my primary sport. And then this spring as well, I'll be running track. So have a few more clubs mixed and matched in there, but that's a few of the main things that I do. So yeah.
Thanks. Next, Eloise.
Hi everyone, I'm Eloise. I'm a 3-year junior. I'm from Brunswick, Maine. And yeah, I came to Proctor. A big thing for me was learning skills, which is something that I've really enjoyed. It's helped me a lot. And I'm also involved with cross country and then girls JV hockey in the winter, and then my main sport is lacrosse in the spring. So I've gotten to try a lot of different afternoon activities here and fun stuff. So yeah.
And are you doing a program this winter or?
Yeah, this winter I'll be going on mountain classroom, which I'm really excited about. So yeah.
Thanks. All right, Gus.
Hello everyone, I'm Gus Didier. I'm a 3-year junior now from Andover, New Hampshire, and I've been involved in a bunch of different things while I've been here. I've been on JV soccer, I've done varsity soccer, JV hockey, I've done the Costa Rica program last year, and I've been on the Rosebud summer service trip to a Native American reservation in South Dakota 2 years in a row now.
Great. Thank you. Lydia.
Hello, my name's Lydia. I'm a 3-year junior now. I am on our horsemanship team in the fall, which is one of the main reasons I chose Proctor because we had a riding team. Well, actually, I haven't been on campus since my freshman year, and I will not be this year, so don't really have a winter sport. And then during the spring, I am on our kayak racing team. And then I'm also a dorm leader in our dorms. Um, which I can talk a little bit more about if you're interested in that. And I am the student leader of Proctor Environmental Action, which is one of our clubs on campus.
Awesome. Thank you. Oops, sorry, I went back. Mia.
Hi everyone, I'm Mia. I'm from Puerto Rico, and I mainly chose Proctor for basketball, being my main sport. But I've gotten the chance to try out other sports in Proctor, like softball, JV soccer, and right now currently I'm really interested in athletic training. So I had the chance to work alongside the athletic training in the staff. I luckily had the chance to go on European art classroom, which is now known as Global Art Classroom. And this spring, I'm gonna be able to go to Proctor in Segovia, Spain. And I'm also part of the Student of Colors Association, which is now as SOCA. Yeah.
Thank you. Topher.
What's up, guys? My name's Topher. I'm a 2-year junior from Hudson, New York. My main sports are ski racing and soccer. And then in the spring, I don't really have a sport, so I'm always trying new things. I did a little JV lacrosse last year, which was fun. I'm in finance and business club, which has been really fun. I'm also in wellness club. I play the violin, so I've done the instrumental ensemble. And then, yeah, those are my main points. So, yeah, cool.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay, I think I'm going to try to stop sharing for right now and go to our chat to see if we have any questions. So I'll let folks take a minute to see if they have anything for our panelists. Okay, quick question. Do we have a rowing team? Yes. Yeah, Lydia, you don't row. Just feel like you have friends
No,
that
but
row.
all of my friends do.
Yeah. Do you know enough about it to say a little something?
Yeah, so we have a partnership with Concord Crew. And through Concord Crew, the team goes every night, or all the way over to Concord, which isn't too far away. It's like 30 minutes from us. And they row there. I know they row on the
Merrimack River?
Merrimack and Mascoma.
Yeah.
And I know that they actually went to um, Head of Charles this year, and they had 3 boats racing at the Head of Charles.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And they do fall and spring rowing, so that is an option for both seasons. Okay, so I'm gonna thank you. I'm going to check out now. We've just got a bunch of questions. So, all right, this is a good start us off question. One piece of advice you would give adjusting to boarding school. That's like perfect for these folks here.
So I came in last year, and I homeschooled my whole life, and so going to boarding school was kind of, I thought would be a big adjustment, and it definitely was. But I would say my advice to you is figure out your time management, what works for you, how to build a schedule that you can get the things you need to get done. Because you'll be like, it's hard, like you're with all your friends, you just want to like hang out with them and stuff, but you are here for school, you do have sports and stuff as well. And so I think if you figure out your time management, then you'll be set really well because you can still hang out with friends, you still have all your sports and stuff, and then if you can get your homework done as well, you'll be set up really well.
Great. Any other advice from students?
I started at Proctor when I was 13 years old, so I was pretty little. And for me, it was just like living away from home was pretty hard, or not hard. It was like, I will say, coming into the dorms and having like such a supportive environment from like the girls around you. Um, and then also my advisor was a really close link for me my freshman year, and she helped me through a lot of stuff. And my advisor now, my freshman year advisor unfortunately left the school, but my advisor right now is like really my number one go-to person on campus, and I think he helps me the most with literally anything.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can add to that real quick. I would just say I came to Proctor as a freshman, obviously as a boarder, and I would say one of the things I think is really important is to be patient and kind of know that like don't come in with the expectation it's going to be easy at first, because I think for most people living away from home for the first time ever and having like independence and new responsibilities, it's really easy to sort of think you might be doing something wrong, but just remember that it takes time, and once you figure it out and you get to know the people who you're living with, it's so much fun. So just trust the process, I guess.
Awesome. Thanks. Those are some good answers. We have so many questions now, so we're going to try to, I have one about sort of like a couple I'm going to put together about academics. So there's a question about like, what does a normal class day look like? So if someone would be willing to walk us through that, but then secondarily, what does the classroom look like or feel like? Like, what is the style of teaching, or what are you doing in there as students?
I can definitely talk about that one. I think we're a little bit different because our fall and spring schedules are the same, and then our winter schedule is a little bit different. So in the fall and the spring, we do classes from about 8:15 to 3 o'clock. And most of the time you'll have about 4 to 5 hour long classes during the day, right? So that's like Monday through Friday. And that obviously depends, right? Like if you have a free block, if you have learning skills, or kind of like what else is structured into your schedule. And then with that in the afternoons as well, we do our theater, our athletics, and those programs are built into the afternoons. So in the fall and the spring, that's going to be about 3:15 to 5:30 or so. And then dinners after that. And then Monday through Thursday, we have a study hall time, which is 7:30 to 9:30. And that's kind of a time where everyone is either in their dorm seeking extra help from teachers in the library. And there's a lot of different kind of ways where people can seek extra help during that time. We have some like peer mentor sessions as well that happen in the library. That's kind of a peer tutoring time. So that's for English, that's for math, that's for science, language as well. So that's kind of an option that you can take part in from that 7:30 to 9:30 time. And then in the winter, it's a little bit different because the days are a little bit shorter with our classes. I think we only run classes until about 1 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, obviously snow sports are big here. So skiing, snowboarding, and all those programs will take place, right? and then other, winter sports as well. So that could be, basketball, hockey, whether that's JV or varsity, that happens in the afternoon time as well. And, we kind of still have that study hall block in the evening that, people will take part in. So that's a little bit of the base of the schedule. Yeah.
Thanks. Does anyone want to tackle the question about what does the classroom look like? The style of teaching and learning?
I can go on that really quickly. And I think what Proctor kind of prides itself in is we try to have discussion-based classes. There's not, it depends on the class, but from my experiences, there's not that much reading from a textbook and take notes. It's usually students come in, they have a discussion, you'll talk about what you read for homework or in math classes, the teachers will have you do some of the work up on the board so everybody's involved. It's not all sit down and listen. Everybody has to take part in the class.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, I think they nailed it pretty well. It's definitely not lecture. It's pretty collaborative throughout the day. And I think each subject's probably a little different in how they do that, but trying to get the students involved in the classes. So kind of similar to that, there was just a question offshoot of how the advisory works for the teachers. So just going to answer that quickly. The advisory meets on Tuesdays, and but then they also see their students 3 other days a week for assembly, all school assembly. And of course, you're seeing them around campus anyway, but those are the set times. But the question was also about how do the teachers manage that? So actually at Proctor, we consider being an advisor another class. So teachers generally, if they're an advisor, they would have 3 blocks plus advisory instead of having 4 blocks of teaching. So we know that we basically dedicate time to that because sometimes, students need a lot of time and that's what we're here for. And then just a question on that as well was about the communication between teachers and advisors. And I will just say, faculty are always talking about students. That's what we do all the time, and how we can support them and, troubleshooting kind of thing. I want to stick to the academic questions because there are a few others, and then we can shift to something else. So there is a question about learning skills, and let's see, talk about your experience with the learning skills program. So I'm going to put you on the spot there, Eloise. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, so I have benefited so much from learning skills. I really enjoy it. My learning skills specialist, Kareen, this is my 3rd year being with her. So I met her my freshman fall, and we have a really close relationship, I'd say. And for me, the primary thing I use learning skills for is math. So I'll schedule time to come into her office and take a test. So I maybe have extended time where I can talk things out loud. That really helps me, or I'll work through problems on the board. So that's been the biggest thing for me. We'll do math. But it's also a great resource for other things too. I spend a lot of time writing essays. So I'll go in there and Kareen will sort of talk to me what I have to do. We'll make a plan of sort of maybe a priority list and go through in that list that we've created. I think it's fun. A lot of my friends have the same block as me, so we share that together. And yeah, it's great.
Thanks. That's great. There was a question about how the learning specialists communicate with teachers. And I don't know if you've experienced that at all, Eloise, or if you want me to answer, how that partnership works.
I think for the most part, they kind of want it to be student driven and have us take initiative on it and be very involved in the process. So I email teachers a lot if I'm going to be doing something in learning skills as opposed to being in class. They want to hear it from us, the students, and show that we're involved in it. But I think from time to time too, the teachers themselves will reach out and be like, hey, just as an update, this is what's been going on in the class. But I think the biggest part is they're all on the same page. And that's really good. My teachers all know Kareen and she knows them. And so unlike having a 2 there that's outside of the school, I don't have to sort of catch her up. She's already involved. So it's great.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome. I think I hit a bunch of the academic questions. So I'm going to shift. There was a question about, I'm not going to be able to find it right now, but there was a question about the off-campus programs. So hold on, I was just gonna try to find that. Okay. Where did it go? Sorry. Oh yeah, what has been the most impactful lesson? Sorry, I just wanted to find that. Most impactful lesson from your off-campus experience. So I think a few of you have done them. Lydia?
I went on Costa Rica in Monteverde last winter, and I stayed with my host family. And I stayed with the Brenes family, and they had two little boys, 10 and 7. And then my host grandma, and then my host mom. And the relationship I built with them is like truly like I don't know how to describe it exactly. Like we talk still once a week now that I don't go there anymore. They got me this shirt. Um and it's
Nice.
in Spanish. Uh, and I think like the experience that I had living with a different family in a different culture in a different language was like truly just something that was in like indescribably life-changing. So
Awesome.
I wanted to add a little bit into that. As I said before, I went to global art classroom. And I feel like going into off-campus programs, it really helps you to build relationships and know how to communicate. It's a hard, like, it's not a hard time, but like I would say kind of like hard time to like communicate with your peers because you're always together for those three months. You do everything together, and you're in a place that you don't really know a lot about, and you're gonna learn about it. But it's kind of like it's definitely scary at first. So knowing how to like build the relationships and communicate with your peers and just like have fun and be like open-minded to like new spaces, I feel like is a really great experience to have if you come to Proctor. It's definitely one of the points that sold me to coming here, and it's just something that I feel like everybody has to do at one point of their life.
Have we heard Segovia? Someone?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about Segovia. So I did Segovia last spring, and it is a 8 week long program, and that whole time you're basically spending with the host family, so it's fully immersive. And to be honest, I feel like your language skills, you definitely could build them there, but most of the families don't speak too much English, so you definitely probably want to go after having taken whether it's Spanish previously. Or taking some time taking a Spanish class here at Proctor, because you definitely will use those language skills. But it's also nice because a lot of times, like the coursework when you go there, translates, kind of right back into the coursework that you're doing here at Proctor. And the credits switch over very easily, so there's not really an issue with that. But loved the experience there. And I was actually someone who at first was really hesitant to go. And that's where, people, including my advisor, including my Spanish teacher, including other people on campus, had kind of not really sold the program to me, but had kind of pushed and encouraged and kind of talked about all the positive things that ultimately I made a decision and was super excited to go. And I'm obviously like forever happy that I chose to do so. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Now, Gus, you did our summer service program, and it kind of goes into a couple questions that I've seen. So there's a question about, can you do an off-campus program in your first year, which depends on what grade you are, I guess, and there's variations there. And then also someone wanted to know a little bit more about that Rosebud reservation. So maybe you can answer this.
Yeah, I can do that. So about the first year thing, I did Rosebud my freshman summer, like the summer after my freshman year, and there are no off-campus programs offered to freshmen coming in. I think they just want kids to get a feel to the school before they actually leave for a term. Sophomore year, you can do the Costa Rica program in the winter or the spring term, and then junior and senior year, you're opened up to those other programs as well. Um, but about the Rosebud trip, it's 10 days long in like southern South Dakota on the Rosebud and Pine Ridge Native American reservations with the Lakota people. We have a long-standing relationship here at Proctor with the a family J.R. Whitehat, Sean John around him who come to campus every once in a while. They'll be parts of they'll go into English and history classes and teach, but we also go out there and it's a service trip every summer. So we go out there for 10 days. We help on ranches. Last year we helped at a dormitory and painted some things at a horse ranch. We got to see some of their ceremonies. So we went to a Sundance ceremony and we did sweat lodges. It's there's a lot offered there, and there's a lot that you can learn from going on it. And I think it is eye opening, and I highly recommend going if you get that opportunity. It's offered every year, and there's 12 students, I believe, who go. So there is a good opportunity to get on that and take that opportunity if you get it.
Thank you. Yeah. So normally, to just clarify one thing, normally students apply the year before for any of the term-long off-campus programs, but there are times where you could apply if you've just gotten here and you can get on the wait list, and then things do change. So every once in a while, someone will get off in the spring, maybe of their first year at Proctor. It's definitely happened here and there. So for those of you coming in as a transfer, that is something that the kids might do. And I see there's a sort of a follow-up on that. How are you selected? You need to be in good academic and social standing. So you write an application, and there's a group of faculty that are reviewing those and trying to select students that they think are ready. Now there was a question, I'm going to shift a little bit. There was a question about being able to ski or do snow sports in the winter if you do another sport. So I think people could answer that. And then sort of on that same topic, I think there are students who may do both a sport and a performing art, sort of like splitting things. So I'd love to hear about both of those opportunities.
I can definitely talk on some of that. So I'm on the Alpine Fist team, so I definitely have had to manage, being off campus for skiing a lot along with your academics. So the winter, we have that longer afternoon program, so we end classes around 1, which opens up a lot of time to get to the mountain, get booted up, do your sport, and then also get back to campus on time for dinner. All the teachers know about our ski program, so they're willing to work with me on homework and stuff if I, miss class one day for a ski race or something like that. And then what was the other question about?
So students that aren't in the racing program, like what are the options? Say they want to do hockey, but they still want to ski.
Yeah, so we have on the weekends, there's sometimes weekend programs that will go to the mountain, and then also we have a light ceremony. I forget, it's a torchlight ceremony on the mountain. So the whole school goes over to the mountain, which is on campus, and everyone skis for about 2 hours. There's food, there's drinks. It's a really good time. And then they turn off all the lights, and everyone holds a torch and skis down in a big snake together. And it's it's a lot of fun. Last year was my first time, and I really enjoyed that. And then, yeah, you'll always be able to, make a pass and maybe go off with some friends and get to ski. And then along with, if you want to do, what's the rec skiing as well. So you can go to Ragged every day and ski with your friends, but that you won't be able to do if you have a sport like hockey. But on the weekends, you'll definitely be able to get off and ski with your friends.
Thanks. Yeah. And then Lydia, did you want to share about performing arts?
Yes. So, my freshman year, as I said, I haven't been on campus since my freshman year, or during winter. But I did both our varsity, ski racing program, which is actually a step down from the FIS or Eastern ski program, but it's still so fun. I really loved it. And I also did the musical. I was really lucky to be able to do both, at the same time. We practiced as responded in the chat on the Proctor ski hill every day. And then we also went to Ragged for free ski days on Thursday, which is so fun. Ragged's a fun mountain, and what I really thought was cool about it was that we're not the only boarding school that goes there. New Hampton, I know, also goes there, and it's kind of cool because you'll go right up the chairlift and you'll be like, oh, that's just another student from another boarding school that maybe you played a JV soccer game against them.
Fun. So I've heard, and it sounds like you did this, that the performing arts directors, encourage everyone basically to be in the shows and the productions if they want to be, and they'll work with you if you're trying to do another sport at the same time, and maybe you'll have a smaller part. But
Yeah, as long as
yeah.
you're willing to put in the commitment, I think like I would say this for any team at Proctor, like if you're willing to put in the commitment and you're like in the time, um, and like just the passion for what you're doing, I think you can do split up almost any sport.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to get everyone involved
Yep.
in those.
Right now I'm doing horsemanship and the theater programs, or we're actually doing a student directed play right now, but
Nice. Yeah. So I think you just have to pack your day a little bit more, right? Unless teachers are willing to support you. Awesome. How about, since we're sort of on that performing arts topic, Topher, would you mind sharing some of your experiences, and then maybe also talk about I don't know if you're in it, but the house band, like you probably know enough about to talk about what's happening this year with music?
Yeah, so I last fall was a part of the instrumental ensemble. So that was a class block where it was my art class block that term. So we would meet. It was me and 5 other students or 4 other students, and we worked with our music director Garrett, who's awesome, and we got I think 4 pieces together, and then we also did 2 pieces to support the vocal ensemble, which is another program. And so we worked during that block every single week, and then towards the end of it, we would also meet during study hall to get the final touches on our performance. He was really good about managing with sports. Sometimes you have a game and you'd miss a practice or something, but you would work together with your teachers and your coaches and Garrett as well. And then we performed on the pep rally before Holderness weekend, which was really fun. That was a cool experience. That was one of those things where it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. That was my first time performing in such a big crowd, but it was definitely worth it, and I was really happy I did it after the fact. And then we also have house band, which is an afternoon program. So if you're really into an instrument or you don't have a main sport that term and you want to pursue a new instrument, you can join house band. That's with, I think it's a big crew, like 10 other kids, and they're all really like all different levels of accomplishment with their instruments. You might learn some new things, you might sing, and they work together and they perform throughout the year. So they perform at Coffee House, which is like I think every weekend they're doing performances. They performed at the Halloween dance last weekend, and then they'll also do things around Holiness weekend. So yeah.
I think they go out into the community to do some performances.
Oh yeah,
too.
I also forgot.
Yeah.
With our band last year, we went to an assisted living area in I think Concord, and we got to like play for all of them, and then eat lunch, and everyone sat at a table with a group, and it was really fun. So yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Topher. So I'm gonna bop around now to try to get all the questions that I'm seeing in the chat. There is a couple people are asking about homework at night. So I wonder if anyone would be willing to share how much can you get your homework done during study hall? And it might change through time.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably speak on this as well. And I think that one thing that's really unique about Proctor too is that like everyone, we kind of spoke about this, but everyone's on a different journey. So some people are here for, 4 years, some people are here as post-grad seniors. So people are taking like a wide variety of classes. So everyone's like workload looks very different. I know last year I took a lot more of an elective-based schedule. And just naturally, like my workload was a lot less than it was this year, where I'm taking, a few APs, a few college level classes, some electives mixed and matched in there as well. So I think every night, it's a little bit different, and that's definitely different person by person. So the study hall time is definitely, in my case, has been enough, but also there's a lot of time where, hey, like I want to go seek that extra help, or I'm going to use my free block to make corrections, to do a retake, or I'm going to study for, an upcoming test. So there's a lot of times outside of study hall that you can, take advantage of. But in my experience, study hall has always been, pretty sufficient for homework and all that. So yeah.
Anyone have anything different to add to that? I mean, just want to check.
Yeah, I just wanted to add real quick. I think in terms of study hall, like whether you're in your dorm or in the library, 7:30, 9:30, it's kind of nice to know that everyone's in it together and you're not missing out on anything social happening. Because like, if you're looking out the window, you're like, oh, I have this test, but all my friends are on the turf, like hanging out. Like that's not the case. Everyone's doing the same thing at the same time. So it makes it easy because it's so structured into your day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. So we're getting towards the end, and you guys have had such good questions and answers. But there's one that's a fun one that I thought I would ask everyone, your favorite tradition at Proctor. And we could get a few different answers on this one.
I can start with the one coming up this weekend in his Holiness Weekend. I would say my favorite tradition because like coming from like Puerto Rico and not having like any experience with like the United States like high school system, everything that I knew about it was like from movies. So I feel like the closest that I mean everything's a movie like in Proctor life, but I feel like the closest that we have to like that lifestyle is Holiness and like that big rivalry. And it's a really nice time because I feel like we all come together like way closer as a community. And it's just really a fun time to spend with your friend. And we have the right now we're in the Spirit Week and we have like fun things like yesterday we did Twins Day. So like I dressed up the same as my roommate. And it's just fun stuff like that that just bring like the community closer. So yeah.
My favorite tradition is project period. So project period is the week after spring break. Instead of going straight into spring classes, we take a week and everybody signs up for a project and to do for like a week. Some of the projects are on campus. Like I know my friend did maple sugaring where they went around campus and they tapped trees, and then they also went to like local farms and stuff. And then there's also some off-campus ones. I know we had one that went to DC. We have one that goes to Cape Cod. I did one this past year that went to Rockland, Maine, and we like went to museum for plein air painting. So we went to the Farnsworth, if you know Maine, it was a really cool museum. And I would say every year I've been at Proctor, project period's been my favorite week at Proctor. So
Yeah, I think this isn't like a set in stone tradition, but I would say the during the warm seasons of fall and spring, going out on the turf is like a really big a lot. Everyone at Proctor does it, and it's always super fun. There's always spike ball, frisbee, football, like two-hand touch and all that stuff. And I would just say it's really like kind of a community center. You meet a lot of new kids, you'll get new partners in spike ball, create some of your best friends there. And coming in as a student, you might be like kind of anticipating these first few weeks, like, oh, what is it going to be like at school? And all the evenings you'll spend with like your new friends out on the turf. And I just think it's a lot of fun and a really good place to be, especially during the warmer season. So yeah.
And then I think my one, which it's a little bit weird. I don't know if it's fully our tradition, but it also is. It's been, happening for a long time. It's been wilderness orientation. And this was something that I think is very different than a lot of our schools. So rather than coming in and, sitting in a few assemblies as orientation, you go out for 5 days and 4 nights into the woods with a group of other students. So also new students. So last year when I came in,
and a returner.
and a returner. So you can have a student leader that it's a returner. But last year when I came in, I went out with a group of juniors, seniors, and postgraduate guys, and we went out to the woods. And it was a really fun experience of, backpacking. Swimming, hiking, camping, cooking all our own food together. And it creates a really good bond between, hey, like other students that are new as well. Also, if there is returning student leader, that relationship as well. And then also the two adult tour guides or leaders on that group, still people that, I talk to a lot. And we all kind of share that same experience when we come in. That's just something that everyone has to take part in. And I believe it's even a graduation requirement. So that's something too that, everyone is definitely going to do at the end of their experience. And I think people still love to talk about, some of the memories that they had out there. So yeah, that's one thing for me.
It's a good one. Awesome.
This
Yeah.
is not like a concrete tradition, but I would say just like dorm meetings have been a super fun thing. I've been lucky to have the same dorm parents my freshman and junior year. And on Wednesdays, we do crepe night. So we'll go into their house and make crepes and hang out. It's a really great way to get to know all the girls in the dorm. And sometimes we'll have other people come over from different dorms. And it's just a fun time to hang out. I feel like it's been a great way for me to get to know kids in different grades. So that's pretty fun.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I'm watching the time and I'm thinking maybe as a way to finish this up, we could hear a few pieces of advice for these families as they're going through the process, looking at different schools and thinking about what would be the best fit for their child. And they obviously are listening and interested in Proctor. So yeah, it could be anything, what you guys might want to share on that.
Yeah, so I would say the main piece of advice is no matter where you go, whether it's Proctor or anywhere else, is just definitely, take advantage of kind of activities, clubs, sports, whatever it may be, right? So if you're a theater person or if you're a sports person, try something different, right? So and kind of step outside of your comfort zone. Like I think a lot of times you go to a boarding school and I would say like, homesickness, if that's something you're worried about, that can kick in easily if you don't take advantage of a lot of stuff, if you don't, create relationships with teachers, if you don't seek out new friendships, right? So that's something that you definitely should take advantage of. And I think that that'll help kind of eliminate a lot of the issues or like worries that people have. And at Proctor specifically with our wilderness orientation, and the variety of clubs that we offer and a really cool relationship that we have with teachers, which, we're here on a first name basis with all our teachers, which is a little bit different than other schools. With that kind of relationship and all the offerings that we have, it's kind of hard for you not to take advantage of those. And then at the same time, it's also hard for you to kind of feel homesick here with so much going on. So I think that's like my main piece of advice for anyone looking at Proctor, looking anywhere else. That's kind of the most important thing.
I'll add to that too. Like the reason I chose Proctor, there was two main reasons. I was looking at a lot of schools around the New England area. One was because of mountain classroom. Being outside is something that has been really important to me my entire life. I'm born and raised New England. I've spent every summer outside since I was very little. And the second one was because of our horse team, which the person in the questions get my email because I want to talk to you. But
We'll get it for you.
I really like. And then when I went, the thing that really set Proctor aside, like besides having those two things that it was really important to me, but I went into a classroom and I shadowed two classes. And I was shadowing Kendall Pruitt, who's a senior here now, and I was going around with her to each of her classes, and they brought me to the dining hall and they made cinnamon sugar toast with me, which is like a staple in the boarding food. Um, and they brought me to their classes, and it was just like so much laughter and fun. And that's what really set this apart for me.
Definitely.
Awesome.
I'll go real quick and kind of similar to what Jake was talking about. Just take advantage of your opportunities that you get, especially here. I've taken a variety. I'm trying to take a little bit of everything in terms of art. I took recycled art. I've taken metal engineering, metal sculpture, woodworking, studio art, all of these different art classes. I've taken one every term I've been on campus. I've gone off campus twice. I've going off campus another time during this spring. It's you can take there's so many different classes and electives that you can take. You could if you want to go that way, you can take AP Calculus or AP Biology, but you can also take Witchcraft, and there's opportunities here and different types of classes that you can try, and just maybe you'll find something a little bit new. So that's my piece of advice.
I can add on to that. Just like I think looking at all these schools, it can be very overwhelming for a lot of you guys. And I think that everywhere you go, just try to imagine yourself there. I really enjoyed Proctor on my tour day, and then on my revisit day, I don't know how to describe it, but it just kind of felt right. Like everyone, I shadowed Aiden Myers, who was our head of school student leader last year, and he was just so like kind, and all the classes were so involved. And like I was a part of a movie on my like revisit day that he was making, which was just such a cool experience. And so I think it just really felt right. And so yeah, I would just try to imagine yourself at the school wherever you're looking, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would just add like be willing to put yourself out there and not be the best at everything you do, because no one's the best at everything. We all have our areas of expertise, and like we kind of come in with the mindset like I'm a hockey player and that's what I do, and like that's great, but like you may surprise yourself and have so much fun doing something that you've never done or you're not good at. And that's like you can bond with other people who also are in the same position. Like we've never done this before. We're trying a new sport. So just be willing to put yourself out there and like be a little vulnerable, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys. I'm gonna leave our families with this thought that you guys, a lot of you just described. We like to think about Proctor as creating this reverse funnel. So going this way, right? So we get these students here, they come in at the top, and by the time they leave, they've expanded their identity and tried so many different things. So as Eloise just said, you know, you think about yourself in one way right now, but hopefully by the time you leave, you're going to think about yourself in so many different ways and have expanded who you know you are and who you what you want to be, and maybe expanded your passion. So try new things. So thank you all so much, panelists, for your time and for all the questions. And I know there were a couple we didn't answer. We can answer the Nordic question and the horseback riding question for that person. Yeah, so thank you guys. That was awesome. And I hope everyone has a great Wednesday night. If you haven't been on campus, we hope you'll schedule a visit. And for some of you that already have, we hope to read your applications in a couple months. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.